Beloved community, welcome to Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Kealoha Ryan, and it is my honor and my joy to be able to serve this beloved community. Answering the call of Spirit is an amazing thing. It truly, truly is. To wind up here in this beloved sanctuary with this beloved community is such a gift, it's such an honor, and it is such a privilege, and it is a great responsibility. And thank you for bestowing this gift upon me, because truly that's what you've done. You've given me a real gift by inviting me into this home, into this community, to serve you. I'm serving here as a consulting minister. And what that means is for the next 3 months, we're going to work together to really form a solid foundation for our movement forward. And so it's working together, collaborating, and working in cooperation with each other to create that which wants to be created, to begin to unfold that which is wanting to unfold here. And then at the end of 3 months, we'll see where we are, and we'll take it from there. But in the meantime, I am all in. I am yours, Riverside. So, Centers for Spiritual Living, the organization itself, there's about 200 centers or 200 member communities that are working with a theme this year, and that theme is 100 years of science of mind. Now, 100 years of science of mind, what that is referring to is Ernest Holmes, the founder of what is now called, the organization now called Centers for Spiritual Living. Ernest Holmes began teaching the principles of science of mind, or another term for it is religious science, back in 1918. And the first book, Creative Mind, was written in 1918, though we think it was published in 1919. There's been some debate on listserv, the minister's listserv, as to what the actual dates are, so they decided on 1918. So that's what we're going to go with, so that's 100 years of science of mind. And the theme for this month, each month we have themes that we're following. The theme for this month is Rooted in the Divine. You are rooted in the divine. That's also the talk title I've chosen for today, because that's the theme that we're going to be working with this entire month. And so what I want to do is I want to give you the opportunity, or I want to give you kind of a background, to set the background for where we're headed this particular month. And so that's what I've chosen. I've chosen Rooted in the Divine. So when I was thinking about Rooted in the Divine, and I was thinking about this, my beloved community, what came to mind in contemplating all of it was passage from John, actually chapter 15, John 1 through 12. And in that, we have Jesus, the master teacher, speaking to the disciples, and he says, I am the vine, and my Father is the gardener. So I am the vine, and my Father is the gardener. And then he goes on to say there that the branches that no longer bear fruit, the gardener cuts away and discards. And the branches that are bearing fruit, the gardener prunes, so that they may bear fruit more richly. And so when thinking about that, for us as individuals, and looking at it from a metaphysical interpretation or a metaphysical idea of it, because that's how we approach these things, looking at it from that perspective, what we find is the idea of cutting away the dead branches. It's cutting away those ideas, those old belief systems, that old BS belief system, right? The old belief systems, the old ideas, the old thoughts, the old habits that no longer serve us. But we don't make them wrong. They're not wrong. They served us at one time, and that's a wonderful thing. And so we honor the gifts that they provided because they did bear fruit richly at one time. And so we honor them and we don't make them wrong. But we allow them to be cut and removed so that the tree, so that the vine can continue to grow and bear fruit. And so then when we think about the pruning of those vines or those branches that are bearing fruit, when we think about the pruning, what we think about from a metaphysical perspective is what we're doing is we're really focusing our attention. We're focusing our idea. We're focusing our mind on that which we are wanting to experience, that which we are wanting to create, that which we are calling forth, that which is wanting to unfold. And we focus, we hone in on it, give it our full attention. And how do we do this? We do this with spiritual practice. We do this with our affirmations. We do this with meditation. We do this with what we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. We begin to really focus and hone in and really go within and center and bring our attention there. Rather than being distracted by everything, the shiny new object out here, what we're doing is we're focusing. So that is pruning, if you will, so that we can bear fruit more richly. And so our purpose, what you see here, our purpose is wholeness, and wholeness is our nature. It absolutely is our nature. But evolution is our design. Wholeness is our nature. So that means there's nothing to fix. There's nothing broken. There's nothing to fix. But evolution is our design, which means that though there's nothing to fix, we can make things better. Would you agree with that? Yes. All right. So the idea here is that we're hospicing that which is no longer serving. We're hospicing that which has come to pass. And we're beginning to midwife that which is wanting to unfold. Hospicing what's come to pass and midwifing that which is wanting to unfold in this community. And so we do that within our own selves. We do that in our lives individually, but we do that collectively in community. Because nothing happens solely in the microcosm, nothing happens solely in the macrocosm. They're both interconnected, they're intertwined, right? Everything that happens in the macrocosm shows up in the microcosm. Everything that happens in the microcosm is part of what has happened in the macrocosm. Would you agree with that? Yes. Good. So, what's happening here in the community then, we have the opportunity to practice this as well by beginning to let go of those old ideas. Let go of those old habits. Let go of those old practices that no longer necessarily serve us. And we don't make them wrong. We honor them because they have given us a gift. They have brought us here to this point of our evolution as a community, as Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. They've brought us here and now. And so we give great thanks for that. We express our gratitude for that. And we begin to welcome that which is already wanting to unfold here. Because evolution is our design. And so next week, Sunday, on the 11th, at 12:30 in Johnson Hall, we are going to have an opportunity to come together and uncover our magnificence. And so what I'm envisioning there, and I've already asked, I'm getting ahead of myself. What I envision there is an opportunity for us to come together in Johnson Hall as a community and get it out. Get it out, get it up, get it all around so we can see what's there. We can see those hidden beliefs that are hiding and lurking way back here. We can see it. Get it up, get it out. Get it up, get it out. All right? And then what we're going to do as a community is we're going to honor that which has been. We're going to honor all those things, all those false beliefs, all those stories people have dumped on our community, because I am not accepting the stories people are wanting to dump on this community. No. No. Oh, we do have stories. But anyway. So then we're gonna get it up. We're gonna have a cathartic little process, let it go. Okay? And then, so that's hospicing what was, or what has been. And then we're going to have the opportunity to begin to midwife, creatively midwife, that which is wanting to be expressed in this community. Because there is a lot of love in this community. There is a lot of potential in this community. There is a lot of possibility in this community. And that is what is wanting to unfold and come forth and create. So we're going to have that opportunity. So back to what I was going to say. I've invited ministers and practitioners from other centers here in the IE. I heard it's called the IE. The Inland Empire. I can mention one of my friends with that. It's LA, the OC, and the IE. Here in When in Rome, Maryland, go. So I invited practitioners and ministers from the IE, from Las Vegas, from other centers in Southern California to come and be with us next week. So you're going to have practitioners and ministers here, not only in service, some of them are going to be able to join us in service, and then some have duties outside, it is Sunday, right? But they will be here for this experience, for the Uncovering Your Magnificence experience. So please, this experience is for us. This experience is for you. This experience is for us. So I would love for all of you to be there, plan to be there, 12:30 to 2:30, because I don't want 10 ministers and practitioners showing up and, only 5 people from our community. It's kind of like the Feast of Purpose, right? So plan to be there. I invite you to be there. And I've already talked to Pat, and we're having the baked potato bar, and so we've got all kinds of goodies that day, so come and be part of this wonderful experience that we're going to have. So, that's the first part of John 15, right? And then he continues on with, I am the vine and you are the branches. Abide in me and let me abide in you, and you shall bear fruit richly. And so our beloved Ernest Holmes wrote this wonderful book, Living the Science of Mind. And this is a book that we are using for the entire year, throughout the year. And so I wanted to share a quick passage with you from Dr. Holmes here. It says, the life within you, being God, does not begin and it cannot end. Hence, you are immortal and eternal. You can never be less, but must forever be more yourself in this life. As this life within you unfolds through your experiences, through your gathering of knowledge and wisdom. Evolution is the drawing out of the God principle already latent within you. It is the God principle within you which Jesus referred to when he said, before Abraham was, I am. And so Riverside is known for its oranges, is that right? Yeah? Parent navel orange, right? So I remember, was it 20? Something years ago. When my grandmother passed away, both my grandparents are buried here in Riverside at the National Cemetery. But that was my first time to Riverside, was to bury my grandmother back in '95. And as we were driving up Van Buren, then we saw, orange trees. So if we think of the orange tree, the oranges themselves, that's great and all, but how did the orange become the orange? The orange doesn't live by itself. It doesn't come to fruition by itself, right? What the orange actually is an expression of the life force within the tree that then forms the branches, that then forms the oranges, right? So it is that one life force moving through the trunks of the tree, moving through that, and out, and then it becomes the orange. Do you understand that? That it's the one life force that does it, that creates it. It's not the individual orange here. The individual orange has no power in and of itself. The individual orange is nothing more than an expression of the life of the tree. And so that's what we are too. We are the individualized expressions of the one life. Each one of us is an individualized expression of the Christ consciousness. Each one of us is an individualized expression of God. So therefore, if we think of ourselves as the tree, then we individually are rooted in the divine. I of my own self do nothing. It is the Spirit within that does the work. So rooted in the divine, taking that stance and feeling rooted in the divine, it is the power of God moving through me as me that lives this life. I live, move, breathe, and have my being in and as the divine, and it as me. And so I invite you to go within for a moment. Uncross your legs if you got them crossed. And feel your feet firmly on the floor. And recognize that principle does not change. God does not change. The divine within you does not change. It is timeless. The divine, though it never changes, form does. Form evolves and it grows. And so feeling solid in your seat, solid with your feet underneath you, turn within and feel into your heart space itself. The seat of the soul. That place within you where the Spirit indwells. Feel your connection with it. Notice your breath. You're not breathing. Spirit is breathing as you. Spirit is breathing you. Spirit is living its life as you. Feel this connection. Bring your attention to it. And know that this is ever available. Because in truth, you can never be separated from it. We like to think that we of our own selves do everything. But as the master teacher reminded us, a branch that has been cut off bears no fruit. We are forever connected. It is simply our own misguided sense or misguided belief in separation that makes us feel separate from, that allows us to feel cast aside, that allows us to be that branch that withers. But the moment we remember our connection, that life force that is within you right now, that you feel pulsing through your veins, brings you back. And it bears fruit richly. I invite you to open your eyes and come back for a moment. And this takes place in community too. If you think of the branches of the orange tree, there's many, many branches. And each of us is a branch of the orange tree. Now, we may look at other branches branches of the orange tree and think, oh, there's another branch over there, but I'm not connected to that branch over there. Right? We might think that, but what's true is that we're all connected to the trunk. We're all connected to that life force, the Christ consciousness that moves through each one of us, that expresses as each one of us. We are all connected. So as a community of individualized expressions of the divine, we are all connected. We're connected as one. And when we choose to remember that, the strength and the power that is in this community comes forth. And what is that strength and that power? That strength and that power is the strength and power of the one, the strength and power of the divine. And so a few minutes ago, when we were singing that song, you might have seen me out with my phone on. Right? And I was tippy-tapping, tippy-tapping, tippy-tapping. I was checking into Facebook. Because I want people to know where we are. Where we are. So I invite you to take out your phone right now. I know we said turn them off. Don't turn them off, just silence them. Okay? And I would invite you to check in on Facebook. Let people know where you are. Do you want to have more people with you, celebrating with you on Sunday mornings here? You got to let them know where you are. And if you haven't liked our Facebook page, find us on Facebook at, all you got to do in the search is put at riverside.csl.
And YouTube as well.
Yeah, and YouTube as well. Right now, I'm worried about Facebook. We don't have like 300 people on Facebook. Come on, people. I have, like way more than that just as friends. Let's go. So, at riverside.csl on Facebook. Okay? If you want to follow me, like, I love getting all your friend requests, I really do. And I'm like getting overwhelmed at the moment. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Reverend Jeffrey, okay, on Facebook. And that'll help keep things a little more simple. There we go. And then when you take pictures or when we do anything here at the center, hashtag it, we are RCCSL. Because what this does is this helps us connect greater with the community, not only with ourselves in here, but the community at large. People get to find out who we are and what wonderful things are happening here, because let me tell you, there are some wonderful things already happening here, and there's some even more wonderful things on the way. Okay? So we want to share it. So make sure that you're on Facebook, you like our page, because we're sending out information on the Facebook page as well. So like it, interact with it, and share it. Alright? So it's another way of connecting with each other and connecting with the community. And remember to love our neighbors as ourselves. That's the ultimate commandment, right? Well, one of the two. Okay? Love God first, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And so it's about being in community and bringing community together. Last week or 2 weeks ago, what was it? The convention. We had the convention here in Irvine. And Pat was there, and Tamara was there, and Diana was there, and Jessica was there. Was anybody else there at the convention other than me? Okay. So we were at the convention. And it was really great because it was the first time that I had a little name tag that said Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. I was very proud of my name tag. Thank you. And people were coming up and they were seeing the name tag and they were like, wow, congratulations, that is awesome. We so support you. We so support what's happening there in Riverside. We are so grateful that you are at Riverside and that Riverside is with you. We are so grateful. This is an amazing, amazing thing. And what is on the horizon for Riverside community is an amazing thing. And isn't that great? And there was lots of stuff. There was lots of celebration. There was lots of support. And we're not just talking like friends, though they were supportive too, but Tracy Brown, the leadership chair of the Leadership Council for all of Centers for Spiritual Living is on board with what we are doing here in Riverside. The field leader, Sharon Hudson, is on board with what we are doing here in Riverside. David Alexander and Jim Lockhart and others are on board with what we are doing here in Riverside. And they are here to support us, and they have offered their support. And on Tuesday night, Ricky Byers had a concert. And the senior minister from Monterey Center for Spiritual Living came over and gave me a hug. And she whispered in my ear, and she goes, "Be expecting a check in the mail." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Last night, our board at Monterey Center for Spiritual Living has chosen or unanimously decided that we are going to tithe to your community." So from our community to theirs, to Reverend Debbie McDowell and their board president, Bobby Hall, thank you. Thank you. There's lots of people believing in what we're doing. Remember those detractors I talked about earlier? Oh, there were a couple of those too. Trying to pile on the stories, trying to tell me about the community, trying to tell me what happened, trying to tell me who they think you are, playing in their own small box and trying to put our community in their small box and trying to make them fit, trying to make us fit into their idea of it. And by the third time somebody tried to do this with me and tried to share this information with me from this place of loving kindness, you heard the air quotes on that, right? I got mad. I'm like, how dare you tell me what this community is, or who this community is? How dare you try to bind principle to precedent? Because what we teach here is principle is not bound by precedent. And here you are trying to bind principle to precedent. Absolutely not. I'm not going to have it. Not going to happen. So what I realize is they don't know this community. They don't know who we are. They have only heard stories themselves. They're trying to circulate and trying to get back. But let me tell you who we are. Ready? We are Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. We are a community of love, a welcoming, affirming, inclusive community. A community that recognizes our unity and celebrates our diversity. We are a community that is respectful. We are a safe community. We are a community of transformation and liberation. A community dedicated to our individual and collective divine unfoldment. A community that is open and curious. A community that sees challenges as opportunities for our evolution and growth. We are a community willing to learn, grow, experiment, and explore. We are a community of collaboration and cooperation. We are a community focused on potential and possibility. A community that is vision-led and mission-driven. We are a creative community. We are a community that moves forward. And we are a brave community. A community that leans into opportunities to deepen our understanding of each other and the world around us. We are a community that is unafraid to take a stand for what is right, true, and in alignment with our Declaration of Principles and the Global Heart Vision. We are a community that calls each other higher. And we are an engaged and involved community. We are a spiritual community that practices what we teach. I'll say that again. We are a spiritual community that practices what we teach. And we are a generous and compassionate community. A community that cares about its people and their passions and supports them. We are a community that shares its time, talent, and resources. We are a tithing community. We are a thriving community. We are a prosperous community. We are a grateful community. We are a community that connects deeply lives consciously, and loves fiercely. We are a community rooted in the divine. This is who we are. We are Riverside Spiritual Community Center Spiritual Living. And don't forget. That's who we are. Don't try to tell me different. And so let's take this into prayer. Let's take this into affirmative prayer. And so you notice I've come down. Because though the words may flow through me, I am not speaking. It is the Christ consciousness within you. It is the Christ consciousness within this community. It is the beloved and the divine within you that speaks this affirmative prayer. That's who speaks. And so what I recognize here and now is that there's only one life, one power, one presence, one infinite eternal beingness. This one I call God, this one I call love, this one I call the divine. And it brought forth all of creation, all of life, in, through, and as itself, in perfect, glorious expression of itself. All form is a form of the divine, it's an expression of the divine. So I know that all life, each individual person, is a divine manifestation and expression of the one life. That life is God, that life is perfect, and that life is unfolding here and now as a Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, and each beloved sitting here, each beloved who may ever see this online or hear the word. And so I recognize that I am one with the one. That I live, move, breathe, and have my being in it, and it as me. We are inseparable. I abide in the truth. I abide in the love. I abide in the word, and I allow the word to abide in me. And I bear fruit richly. And I know this to be the truth of everyone present here today. And so I speak my word for this beloved community called Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. I know that we are rooted in the divine. The divine flows through each one of us and flows through our community into a greater, fuller, more magnificent expression of itself. I know that we are willing to look at the branches that no longer bear fruit. I know that we are willing to cut them and honor them. And I know that we are willing to call forth that which is wanting to be expressed in this community. That we say yes to it. We've already said yes. We've already said yes. And so we simply allow it to flow through. We focus our attention on it and allow it to express here and now as our beloved community. And we do this together, remembering that we are all connected. Connected with each other, connected in the one. That we are never separate or separable. And so I give thanks for that which has occurred here today. I give thanks for that which has already been revealed. I give thanks for that which is yet to unfold. I give thanks that we know that we are rooted. That we are the divine, made manifest. And so I simply release this word into the law, knowing it is already done, knowing it is already complete. I let it be, and together we say, so it is.